All right. Go ahead.
I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order for a Tuesday, October 21st with a roll call.
John won't be here tonight. Seth,
Here.
Andrew,
Here.
Todd,
Here.
and Steve will not be here.
Brings us to our first period for public comment. No one is present. Is anyone online like to make a comment? Please give your name, address, and contain it to 3 minutes. With no one online, we will move on to a review and approval of September 23, 2025 minute meetings.
This is Todd. I move approval on the September 23rd, 2025 meeting minutes.
This is AGL second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then we have our number 4 operator license approvals.
Okay, we have, I believe it's 4 of them here. Chloe Munt is a new one for the food co-op. Took the class September 25th this year. Talon Kangas is a new one for Aldi. Took the class September 29th. Ava Jesse Murdoch for the food co-op is a new one. Took the class October 7th. And Josie McClellan is for Gassers, also a new one. Took the class in February of this year, but is also has one in another municipality. And I believe 3 out of the 4 of them you've got the background checks done for. So if you do approve these to forward on pending background checks.
I make a motion that we approve operator license pending the 4th background check.
Oh, this is AGL second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 5 is a discussion with possible action on temporary beer and wine license for Pleasant Ridge Waldorf School Holiday Fair on December 5th, 2025.
Okay, this one is one that they do on a yearly basis. I did get the permission from the school because of the fact that they're serving alcohol near a school. This is actually in their school gym. They're going to be serving wine and beer for the occasion. They have a no alcohol policy, but this is an exception for the adult only event. As the holiday fair gala and anniversary dinner is kind of what they do. They've been doing this for several years. I think they have the time on here. It says 5 hours of operation, but I don't have the exact time frame on that, but it's usually in the evening. So I don't think we've ever had any issues with this one. So just looking for you guys to forward this on to council if you so choose to approve.
This is AJ. I make a motion that we forward this on to council with approval for the temporary beer and wine license for the Pleasant Ridge Waldorf School Holiday Fair on December 5th, 2025.
Todd, I second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And we will probably table 6 until chief returns for an update on the fire station project. So moving on to number 7, police and fire department updates. Chief Needfeld.
Other than AJ, you weren't here on the last one, but our last one I did all the numbers and the administrative. So those numbers are available on our website, on our Facebook page, on the city website is what I meant by that. But I don't have anything else. Our calls are probably pretty average right now. So since our last numbers, but they're available. So I don't have any other updates unless there's questions.
Yeah, quick question. How did Saturday go?
Very good. 500 to 1,000 people, but no incidences.
The stretch where they were most prominent was just in terms of in the city where they all, I mean, I assume that many people weren't located all on the corners of Decker and Main, where some of them.
Nope. Nothing to the north of Decker. It was Decker to Jefferson.
Okay.
The only, I guess, not even complaint we got is they did a pretty good job. And then the officers that were working, so he's referring to the protest, the King's protest on Saturday. It was from 10 to noon. The only thing that we kind of had was when they were congregating on the sidewalk, but right next to the intersection, the cars coming up perpendicular had a hard time seeing if there's traffic coming. We put up cones for that. And then once we put the cones up, it was no issues for visibility. So we had, yeah, good turnout and then, yeah, no issues.
Thank you.
Thanks. We will probably step back if Chief Burris is available for an update on the fire station project. Number 6. Well,
Not a lot of updates for the fire station. They're just working through punch list items. There's a few little things that still we're finding maybe not working correctly or, normal weird stuff, right? So they're working through that. The list is finally getting smaller instead of growing. I don't think there's anything yet to come in that's like necessarily owed to us, but just repaired or adjusted, things like that. For the most part, we're moved in. We still have a few pieces, loose ends or whatever at the old station to get moved over, and then obviously getting things organized and put in place and that kind of stuff. But contingency or how the money's turning out, it's looking really good. The numbers that Nate showed you a couple of weeks ago, a month ago or so, that's looking to hold true and actually to the positive. So hopefully that continues. There is one last change order coming that will include the money given back out of the contingency, which seems weird because we've never given it to them, but it's how they do work it, I guess. But it's like $2,100 maybe that we'll need to pay, but it's like 183,000 given back. So it's looking healthy that way. Aside from that, I can't really think of anything as far as directly related to the fire station project. So
drove by the other night after hockey practice and it really looks beautiful with the
Thank you.
display case, and I'm sure there's more to come in
Oh, yeah.
there, but
nope, we're taking our
Looks nice.
time. It's a little overwhelming, but so,
Nice
but
to
yes,
see.
thank you.
So just from finance inside, Chief Rose is correct. Things should end very well. We'll come back and do a sort of end of project budget report on sort of like where we landed. The USDA grant, there's still over $1 million in funds that need to be reimbursed from that grant. We can't submit for those funds until we get our final pay request. And as of for the September billing, which would have been the last billing we received, there was no pay request from Keller, which is really fortunate because with the federal government shutdown, who knows what that would do for reimbursement timelines. Our contact over at USDA, Julie Giese, we haven't heard from her, but we also haven't, other than yesterday when Devin sent something, we haven't really tried to contact her. So we'll see, but the next billing will be at the end of this month, and that I would assume would start to wrap things up. So fingers crossed that we're not impacted by the government shutdown, however long it decides to last, and that we have a way to get our funds back. But Julie, we're in a good pattern right now with Julie, where it seems like it's a pretty short amount of work on her side to get it reimbursed. I think we're now in the last reimbursement here. She's kind of got it down to a pattern. So I'm hoping that will be okay, but just stay tuned on that. The only other thing is open house night.
Well, that'll be on my update.
Oh,
But-
okay. I'm sorry.
But that I can talk about it now. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
sorry.
well, and we were gonna move to your portion of number 7
Yep.
and the
Fair enough.
fire update.
Perfect. Just a couple things, and I missed what Rick had talked about, so stop me if you've already heard about it. But we had the homecoming parade a couple weeks ago. You mentioned that, or went well. A lot of kids. That extra floats in this year. Some businesses participated, which they hadn't done in years. But good coordination between fire, police, emergency management, and streets assisted. Did utilities? Anybody from utilities? Yeah, so streets. Brandon's been doing a good job of starting to put together incident action plans so we can carry on year to year. If I'm unavailable, Rick's unavailable, whatever it might be, it's a tool that they can use in the future. So we've been slowly trying to do that more and more on special events, and it seems to definitely help. I did an escort for the golf. There's a gal from Broke Area Schools that made it to state, I believe. So we did an escort for her. A couple weeks ago was Public Education Week, Fire Prevention Week, nationwide or whatever. Went over to the school like we always do, about 155 students. We do pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade students, both the school and the Montessori division of it or whatever. Some really good interaction this year. Was kind of fun. We kind of changed up just a little bit and asked some questions and see what they remember from year to year and whatever. But then we always go over to the daycare too, the Broker daycare, and meet with the little kiddos there. It's a little bit different there because most of them are so young, but they still get excited seeing Blitz the fire pup and things like that. And then we also had the nursing home in Westby, Northland. Thank you. They brought some individuals over to do a station tour. One of them was connected to the fire department years ago. I'll leave it at that. But it was fun. Good questions. Just watching them smile and spend some time with them. Evacuation drills. You talk about those? We did a couple of evacuation drills over at the high school, middle school, and then also the elementary. Did a full building evacuation. I think it went well. Just good practice, right? And coordinated with, obviously the PD was there and the sheriff's department sent someone. So we're all working together and making sure we all know what we're doing. A lot of these are just simple updates. So, let's see. So open house, we'll talk about the open house. Thursday, November 6th is the current date. And barring any catastrophic event, I'm shooting for that date. So hopefully all of you can make it. I'll talk about it or try and bring it up at council, hopefully. I'm going to work with Trina to try and get out some good public information. Try and do maybe a radio show with her. I think she does those Tuesday morning things. Try and do that. Get some assistance with her on getting the word out and try and get as many people involved as possible. So that'll be from 4-ish. We're shooting for 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. 4 o'clock would be more of a ribbon cutting, kind of the speeches thing. And then we'll carry it on till 7 or a little bit later if we need to, so that the working person, the person that's helping with this project can come and take a look and hang out and ask questions and whatever. So mark it down if you can. I'd love to have every one of you there, obviously. 4 to 7. Yep.
I'll send out an invite right now to all the
Perfect.
council
Perfect.
members.
Obviously, we'll invite Baldwin's office and those key people. USDA will be involved or invited. Of course, the shutdown, who knows what'll happen with that, but obviously the townships, everybody that needs to, we're going to try and reach out to directly. So, just some things coming up. Got a lot of things coming up. Wednesday night, actually tomorrow night, we're going over to do a hero event over at the Emmanuel Lutheran Church. They're trying something different, meet your local hero, superhero. So we're going to go and meet with the kids and see how that goes. Obviously, trick or treat's coming, so, and that'll be at the fairgrounds, correct, again? So we'll be down there, obviously, to represent and hand out some candy. Tractor Supply invited us to a Touch a Truck event coming up on Saturday, November 1st. So we'll have a truck there with some firefighters. And talked about ribbon cutting. We've actually got an individual that's planning on coming and cooking for us a Thanksgiving meal for our November meeting night. This individual, we assisted in a situation years ago, and he's come to me and wants to do that for us. So it's pretty cool. Thought I'd just mention that. Don't very often get that, and it's pretty cool, pretty cool. So Twinkle Fest Parade too. Some of these things are a little bit farther out, but Twinkle Fest Parade, so we'll be helping with traffic control and safety, and just a few things I think we're talking about changing a little bit this year, adding maybe some safety things, but still working on those details. And then the big chili supper, Toys for Tots chili supper. That's the first Wednesday of December. So mark your calendars if you can come participate with that. And we serve chili and we cover the costs and whatever we raise for them, they get. It's typically been very successful. I'm kind of hoping this year it's our best year ever with the new building and maybe getting some more people to come and or see the station. So time will tell, but that's the hope and the plan. I think the last thing is just going to touch on call volume. It's running about even with last year. The difference is we're running more fire calls this year versus rescue, kind of break them down between fire related or whatever versus medically related. And last year, been looking for some trends and things like that to track and see if there's anything we can adjust or change. In 2024, 61% of our calls were medical and 39% then were fire related. This year it's trending 53.5% medical and 46.5% fire. So it's more fire, less medical. It's, getting close to the 50-50 mark. Not sure why. And again, we're trending similar numbers, but nothing pops out, which I thought it maybe would.
Is that, I
What?
don't know, it's not
No,
really
go ahead.
comment time, but
Oh, yeah.
for
go ahead.
year
This
to
is open.
date, would it have been because of the high fire calls in the spring, or weren't they possibly
Overly
high that just felt like there was constantly a
right.
field?
So brush fires were a little higher this year. More public education. We record those as a response of some sort. It's not a emergency response, but it's things that we get involved in. So we're doing a lot more public education. A lot of burn violations. So those will be things, illegal burning. There's been quite a few in the city. Not bad, but a few extra this year than normal, and quite a few in the county. And so it's back to trying to educate and push and, remind them of what they can and cannot do or whatever. So I think some of those would have changed those numbers a little bit. But like car accidents are down, not a lot, but they're down. Structure fires we've had the same amount of structure fires up to this point than we did all the year last year. So we'll see what the next 2.5 months bring or whatever. But a lot, the rest of them, just a few extra gas leaks this year. So it's just weird, right? Like there's nothing in my face, like, boom, why are we having a problem with said thing or whatever? So, ambulance availability this month alone, we've had 7 calls where there was no ambulance available. So it's trending back to being a issue.
Do you remember about where it was per month in like the heart of challenges? Was it 20?
Well, in the heart of the problem before we started first responder, it was well over 100 times in a year.
In a year.
The last couple years has been 2023 was 50 times, 2024 was 59 times, 2025 we're at 38. So it'll probably be about average of the last couple years, but it's happening more consistent again. Like
So the number is, you said this month it was 7.
correct. 7 alone this month. And we're at day 21, right? So I mean, they're short on staff again, I've been told. I don't know how busy they've been. Our call volume's been fairly busy, but it kind of follows suit. Like the more often we see unavailable ambulances, we get automatically called. So when our call volume goes up for medical that month, it almost translates to them being less available. We also have had on Friday, we had 3 calls on top of each other within 7 minutes. So we had to keep splitting hairs and shifting trucks and whatever. And we got it done. Thank gosh, none of them were like severe, you know, but then a few hours later, we had 2 more calls, almost, I can't remember, I would say within, don't quote me, but we didn't finish the first one before the second one came back in. I can't remember the amount of time, but so we're seeing that again. And again, some of that translates to when an ambulance isn't available. So they call us to fill in the void, which we're more than happy to do, but something to pay attention to. So anyways, I like to track that and like to keep you informed on that stuff. Aside from that, unless you have any questions, that was a lot real quick, but just been busy, and we're keeping up, and the volunteers are pulling their hair out a little bit for the extracurricular, let's say. But we keep going. So
Thank you both for the updates. I thought about this last, I don't know which committee this would even be a part of, but is there any concern with the Twinkle Light Parade that usually stages on Center Avenue and now that's tore apart? Will that be back together before the Twinkle?
Already taken care of. They are going south to north this year, so they are staging of Terhune Street. They're going to be lined up and down Terhune Street, and then coming out on Terhune and ending at Parkinson.
Had thought of that, but I just was curious. So thank you.
Good question. Yep.
I think we're good then. Brings us to our second period for public comment. If anybody's online, would like to make a comment, please unmute and let us know. If not, I'd be looking for adjournment.
Todd, I make a motion to adjourn.
This is AJ, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.